Hey guys, so I was just sitting here in my room and I thought it might be, sorry, fuzz, there's always fuzz because there's so many animals here. I can hear the puppy sniffling on the bed behind me, but as I was saying, I thought it would be a good time to start recording my Throughout the Years series. So this is the first one in the series. This is going to be everything from birth through kindergarten, just the highlights, not every single thing about my life. Oh, the puppy's awake, guys, so I'm gonna go so I can take care of her real quick, and I'll be back in just a second. Okay, puppy is outside with Karen, so I can continue, hopefully uninterrupted. I didn't write anything down, I don't have anything scripted, so I'm just gonna kind of wing it, and hopefully I will get things in order, because if they're not sequential, then it'll just be all over the place. So, I was born in December of 1981. I will be 30 this year. My parents had been married for 5 years when they had me, and I am their first child. I was about 15 months old when Karen was born, so I really don't remember any time in my life before she came along. And then when I was 3, my sister Lauren was born, and I remember her crying a lot when she was younger. It turns out later that she had colic, but we didn't know that at the time, so I remember wanting her to smile a lot and being frustrated that she didn't. My grandparents, my mom's mom and dad, lived with us until Lauren was born, and once she was born they moved out so that we'd have more room in the house. We had a 5-bedroom house with a swimming pool, and it was really awesome. Maybe someday I will show you guys where it used to be, but it was a 1-level ranch house and it was torn down a long time ago, and some really weird 2-story thing was put up in its place, but I digress. Okay, so as far as any specific highlights, not a lot happened to me when I was that young. I was very imaginative. I was obsessed with reading. I learned to read when I was about 2 years old, and I loved to be read to, and every night my grandmother made up a story for me, and every night my grandfather read a book to me, and he also made up stories for me, based off of, like, you know the story of Goldilocks and the Three Bears? Well, I had this book that was called Silverlocks and the Three Bears, and I actually could grab it for you guys. I have it right here. It's a really old book. I keep trying to find a published date on it. It's made of cloth. It's an old school book. But this is the book, and it's like one of my most prized possessions. I hope you can see it. I hope that's in frame. I just hid my own face, so I'm sure you guys saw it. Anyway, because this book was Silverlocks, and the other one was Goldilocks, he and I made up a bunch of other different kind of locks, and he used to tell me stories about them, and that was always really fun. Let's see, what else about when I was very small that really stands out? I always wanted a cat. We had 2 when I was born, but for some reason my whole life was spent wishing and dreaming for a cat, and I always wanted a new one, and every time I had one, I would be happy for a little while, and then I would start wishing for a kitten again, and I felt like I never had my own cat, but I've had dozens. It's very strange. When I was very little, I used to like to make up songs. I remember walking around and around this palm tree in our backyard and just singing these songs I made up about, like, Mickey Mouse and Goofy, and I don't know, my dad still likes to tease me sometimes and sing some of the songs too, but I'm not going to treat you guys to that. And if I'd been more prepared, I would have grabbed, like, the photo albums, and I'd be showing you guys old pictures, which maybe I'll do in another video, because this is just the first of many. This is just, like I said, birth through kindergarten, so I should probably pick it up and get going. Let's see. I started school when I was probably, well, I was always in, like, mommy and me classes. I was always in classes, dance class and ballet and tap and tumbling and all that stuff. My parents had a lot of activities for me when I was younger, which is really good, but I kind of wish it would have stuck throughout the years, because that definitely fell by the wayside. I'm the oldest of, in my family, just there's 5 of us, 5 daughters, and my sister Jordy was born when I was 8, so there was always a new baby coming, and I have a feeling that made it difficult for my parents to make us, any of us, very extracurricular. So let's see, first year of school I remember, like real school, I was probably like 3 years old, and I remember there was a girl who was missing her left arm from about here down, and she had one of those prosthetics that had like a claw on the end of it. And keep in mind, I was 3. I have always been scared of alligators and crocodiles, and to me it looked like a crocodile sticking off of her arm. And I remember that I didn't understand it, and I remember that she knew I was scared of it, so she would torment me, which, looking back, there's probably a better way for that to have been resolved. Someone probably should have had both of us talk about it and made me more comfortable with something different that I didn't understand, and make her understand that just because it made me nervous didn't mean I didn't like her or couldn't accept it. But that was the one thing that stood out about my first school. I wasn't there very long. I was, like I said, born in December, so if I hadn't been enrolled in a private school for kindergarten, I wouldn't have been able to go into first grade with the rest of the kids born in 81. I would have been class of 2000 instead of class of 99. And my parents knew I could read already, so they thought it would be prudent to get me in school as soon as possible. So then I transferred to a private school, and I did pre-K and kindergarten there. And that's pretty much where things, you know, got good and got bad. I mean, I made friends for the first time in my life. I remember walking into school on the first day, and there was a girl who had her ears pierced and really long hair, so I wanted to sit next to her because my hair wasn't as long as hers and my ears weren't pierced yet. Although, as soon as I asked for it, when I was 3, I got them pierced. My mother's rule was as soon as you're old enough to ask for it, you can have it. So I was 3 when I got my first set of earrings. As you can see, it didn't deter me, although it did hurt, and I remember crying. Anyway, it's a little bit jumbled because I'm talking about being 3, talking about being like 4 in preschool. So did pre-K and then did kindergarten in the same school. I was very, very good at anything that had to do with reading comprehension, but I had a very hard time staying on focus with anything. And I'm trying to think if any other like big events happened. I remember I had a birthday party at McDonald's that was lots of fun. I should show you guys pictures of that. But otherwise, nothing else really comes to mind, so I'm trying to think anything special about being in kindergarten. You know, that's pretty much everything that comes to mind right now from birth to about age 5, or, yeah, age 5, because I was 5.5 when I started first grade. So I guess everything else is a tale for the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the first in my Throughout the Years series, and I will see you all next time for my first grade year video. Bye.